somebody named Ann Meyer.
Yeah, you know, I'm gonna tell you right now, Royden, that's not what we're gonna talk about, actually.
Oh.
Yeah, Jess and I, we're gonna have, yeah. No, yeah, it's not gonna be that at all, but that's okay.
Well, I signed up on that.
Oh, I see.
Oh, well, you know what? Royden, you should go to another session. Yes.
Oh,
Another
besides that,
session.
yeah, I think I'm going to do the base camp.
Yeah, I think.
Paulette is
yeah.
in charge. Oh, there's Lynn.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes,
Yes.
we can hear you.
Okay,
Is
I'm
that your
gonna
bedroom
switch
that
over
you're in?
now.
Yeah, I'm gonna like change my background so you can't see my bedroom.
Well, it's good to see that you make your bed. You know, that's what people say. You should make your bed every morning because it makes a big difference. Okay, let's see. I'm checking everyone in. Let's see. Melanie's here and Ann Myers is here. Lynn is here.
My Toastmasters logo backwards? Or
Yes,
it
Yes.
is, okay.
What is the password?
TM.
Huh?
TM. Capital
TM.
letters.
Yeah, capital letters.
How about now? Is it better?
Nope.
You still can see it flipped.
Nope.
No, it's still Toastmasters backwards. Yeah, it's a mirror image. Yeah.
Mine is Toastmasters too, right?
No, you've got the eclipse or some kind of earth
Oh,
in the morning.
there.
Okay,
Nice.
better.
Okay, I see. And let's see, Lynn, can you say a few words? So because right now
Hold
I
on.
see your
Hold on.
Toastmasters, yeah, still backwards.
Lynn, are you doing connect your to the audience? Your project?
Hold on. I sent you the evaluation form, Anne.
Okay, okay. Thank you.
Oh, I see Ty is on. Very good. Hey, Ty, can you hear me? This is Royden. Hi, Ty, can you hear me? I see you've muted yourself. Can I? Okay, good.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Hi, Ty.
Okay.
So you're in Maui right now?
Yeah.
Okay. We're going to be introducing you as a new member. So if you would introduce yourself, please, when the time comes, just say a few words about yourself, some interests and stuff. You'll have a chance when you give your icebreaker speech. But I think for everybody to get reacquainted with you, it would be nice to do so.
Okay.
Okay,
Will do.
Thank you, Ty. Good, thank you. Okay, let's see. Oh, there you go. That's it.
There you
right
go, Lynn.
That's right,
It's
Lynn.
right.
Okay.
there. So Lynn, are you working at the convention center today?
I am. I came home just for this meeting, just because kind of hard to be presenting a speech with claims examiners all around you listening.
Yeah.
Yeah, how's it going?
Busy. Our division administrator moved up to take over the deputy director's position at
Oh,
the Department of
right.
Labor.
Uh-huh.
So I get to TA as the division administrator for the next 2.5 years.
Oh, wow, congratulations.
No, condolences. You know, as you know, TA means I get to keep my old job, do my old job, and this other one as well. So it'll be rough going. I see
Good for you.
Julia's. Yeah. I see Julia's on. Hi, Julie.
Hello. Hello.
Julia, as I mentioned to Ty earlier, we're going to introduce you as a new member. So as if you would, you can say a few words about yourself, some of your interests, and again, you'll have a chance when you give your icebreaker speech, but it would be good to reacquaint everyone as to who you are. Okay.
Okay, sounds good.
You. Okay, let's see who we got here. Chris Takano. Let's see. Chris is here. Julie is here. Okay. We can't start until we have the Toastmaster of the day on board. So that's Pradip. And we know that he's around. I have right now about 11:58 or 11:59. And typically a lot of our Toastmasters, you know, they're very busy. So they just kind of slide home right in just a few seconds before the meeting starts. So we'll give them a minute or two beyond 12 o'clock before we kick this meeting off.
Aiden, if you don't mind me asking, are you in a classroom or something? Your background looks like a classroom.
You know, somebody has said that, but no, actually what this is our conference room. We, in the back of me over there is you know, we administer the workers' compensation, the temporary disability insurance, the prepaid healthcare laws in Hawaii. And back over there is all of the grand plans that we have for the next 5 years.
I see.
It's been sitting up there for 5 years. It's so old we can't even erase it anymore. We try to use our eraser thing. It doesn't work, so we just leave it up there. It looks impressive, but really it's so don't pay any attention to that. Okay, if I may, I see more people are populating it. Let me maybe I need to make sure before the madness begins. I'm going to take roll here. I see Lynn is here. I see Rodora is here. Millie is on board. Ann Myers is here. Julie, Chun is here. Yep. And let's see, Pradip's here. Chris is here. Oh, Kanani Kia is here. Okay, Kanani from last week. Okay, and Melanie's here. Randall Landry is here. See. And let's see, Ty from Maui is here. Zach Watzak is here. Okay, and Julie Jepson is here as well. Okay, I think everyone is here that we're expecting to be here. So let me go ahead and say hello or call this a meeting to order. I want to thank Lynn Araki-Regan for sponsoring the Zoom meeting, and to Melanie Martin, our Sergeant at Arms, for sending the announcements out for the meeting itself. This time, I would like to introduce our guests for the meeting. The first I would like to introduce is, let's go ahead and introduce Kanani Kea. Kanani, if you would please, would you, let's see. Kanani, oh, you're here again. Please, if you would reintroduce yourself, if you would.
Yeah, of course. So my name is Kanani Kea. I work for Embarrass Services and Training Center. I am currently a consultant for the Department of Transportation Highways Division, Maui District. So for Tai Fukuroku. So Ty and I work closely together and have for the past year or so. And he invited me to this Toastmasters, so I'm super happy to be a part of it. Thank you guys for welcoming me. This is my second meeting so far, and I'm really excited to meet all of you and get to know you all more closely and vice versa. So thank you again.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you, Kanani. And I see Chelsea Inacio is here also from last meeting. Chelsea, if you would introduce yourself, please.
Hi, everyone. I'm Chelsea. I work with Kanani at Enviro Services, but I work on the airports and harbors division stormwater projects. And this is my second meeting as well. I'm really excited to join with you guys, and thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Chelsea. We have two new members here that we would like to introduce. They have, you've seen them before, but as a way of introduction, they just joined us officially on October the 1st. So if I may introduce from the Heart, I think a Heart Consultants, Julie Jepson. Julie, if you would please.
Thank you, Royden. I'm very excited to be part of the actual team now. As he had stated, I am a consultant for the HEART project. I am actually employed through a company called SSFM. I work with the third parties on the east segment of the project known as CCUR, the City Center Utilities Relocation portion. So I'm excited to be on board, and I really enjoy the organizational aspect and looking forward to improving while being on this team. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Julie. And then Tai Fukuroku, all the way from Maui, if you would please introduce yourself.
I'm Tai Fukuroku with DOT Highways Division, Maui District. I do the environmental compliance stuff for them, and I'm semi-excited to be here. I was voluntold, so, but nah, I'm just kidding. I'm happy to be here, and hopefully I'll pick up some things.
Okay, thank you very much, Tai. I just love that Maui sense of humor. Lynn already knows both of my parents are from Maui. So yeah, we understand they have a very good sense of humor. Our last guest is the highest in the pecking order, if you want to call it that, in the Toastmasters. She is our area director. And in the scheme of things for the Toastmasters, we all have our members who belong to a club. And the clubs are grouped in 5 clubs, and then overseeing those 5 clubs are the area directors. Our area director happens to be with us today. She calls herself Rodora Orias. And I'd like to introduce her. If you will say a few words, not only introduce yourself, but if you want to say a few words on the behalf of the district and the area, please do so. Rodora Orias.
Thank you, Royden. I'm happy to be here. I've actually seen 2 recorded sessions of your meeting. It's different when it's really right now, like live, than having to record, because sometimes some of the people, because I can see all of you now, but if it's recorded, sometimes I don't see other people around when somebody's talking. So I don't get to observe everything. And I'm here to observe you basically and see how dynamic this club is. I mean, just seeing those 2 recorded sessions, I'm impressed, and also the speakers. So I want to see more. Now, as far as the district is concerned, if anything that you would like to, for us to help you with anything, let us know. The district is so willing to help you with anything that might help your club. And at this point, I'm actually doing a speechcraft as well that is helping build a new club. And if you want to know more about the speechcraft program, let me know. I've experienced it, and I'm ready to do more to help other clubs. But I see you don't have any problem with that because you have so many that are coming in already.
Okay, thank you very much, Rodora. And for our guests, Kanani, Chelsea, and Rodora, we would like to ask your permission or your consent to for our table topics master, Millie Murakami, to ask you table topics. Is that okay? Sure. Yeah. Well, both Kanani and Chelsea did extremely well. And Rodora, I'm sure you do well as well. Okay, very good.
Hopefully.
In that case, allow me to, let's see. Let me continue on this. Approval on the agenda itself, approval of the minutes. Does anyone have any additions, deletions, any revisions to the minutes? We'll give you 10 seconds, if you would, please. I think those minutes were sent out by Melanie with her invite to the meeting. So hopefully you all have a chance to review. Any changes? Hearing none, then the minutes are approved as circulated. Officers' reports, the VP of Education, Ann Myers, please, your report. And I think you're muted.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, sorry about that. Royden and I are taking it to the, well, you don't know about the street, to the Zoom meeting platform. We did a couple of sessions. I know we did one with Melanie and Rando. He's not here, but we are offering, Royden and I, a chance for you to come on board if you have any questions about pathways, if you're new to pathways, have a 1 hour session with us and you'll be glad you did, and you'll be right on board with pathways and understand everything about the program. So Melanie, did you enjoy your time that you spent with us?
I really learned a lot. I learned how to do some shortcuts and how to navigate through my, is that base camp and all of that. So I really found it beneficial to actually sit down with you and Royden to go through the pathways together. So I recommend it to all of you. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So that's, let Royden know and we'll schedule a session. Okay, back to you, Royden.
Okay, thank you very much, Anne. Let's see, VP of Membership is Eve Epitome, but she is cannot attend today. But she would like to thank everyone who have renewed their dues. In fact, everyone just about, except for one person, renewed their dues. And in fact, we've got more members like Julie and Ty. And we are, for the first time in over 20 years, let's say that again, first time in over 20 years, we actually have more than 20 members in our club. So that's a very nice hand for all of us, especially Lynn and Melanie, who've been inviting a lot of the people to the meetings. Okay. VP of Public Relations, Lynn Araki-Regan, if you would please.
Okay, so besides having our banner, we have a little sign that I purchased announcing our club, when our club is scheduled. We can put it in our DOT office, since our DOT office was the location that we would physically report to for our meetings, but I thought maybe we should hold off in putting the sign up until we return physically to DOT. I don't know what your thoughts are on that, Royden. I'd be happy to put up the sign if you'd like for me to put up the sign now. But my proposal is to hold off until we return back to the site physically. Secondly is we have this Toastmasters Youth Leadership Program that I've been talking about for the past couple meetings. You know, in looking through the program, I see real benefit for us to hold off until we can physically meet with the students to participate in this youth leadership program. I mean, we could do it via Zoom or via Teams, but I think for the students to really benefit, the 8 sessions I think should be done in person. So my suggestion is to wait a couple more months in the hopes that we could physically meet in a couple months. But you know, if the club wants me to proceed with the leadership classes via Zoom or Teams or other app, you know, I'd be happy to do so. I have no problem in starting it.
Okay, thank you, Lynn. In the interest of time, with respect to the banner, you asked whether or not we should just hold off on posting the banner up. I would say this, you know, for many of you know that I was born and raised in Kalihi, and anything I pass by that's really nice and it's not nailed down, I'll take it, I'll steal it. So having said that, best not to post up that Toastmaster banner, because I say this, we used to have an original Toastmaster banner before. We had it in our meeting room in the directors, in the Department of Transportation's directors conference room. And one day we came back and it was gone. Somebody took it. We could never find it again. So I say this, yeah, please do not. That's a nice looking sign you have there. So please do not do so. With respect to the youth leadership program, unless anyone has any of the druthers, Lynn, I agree with you. I think it's very important for the youth leaders, youths especially, to have that one-on-one experience rather than just seeing a picture on the up on the screen. And let me refer to Rodora, who works for the Department of Education and who teaches these young kids. What do you think about that, Rodora?
I agree. I strongly agree because their attention at that age is so minimal. They really have to be physical and also be able to retain what they learn. It's different when it comes to physical collaboration or being able to see and learn from each other.
Okay, thank you very much, Rodora. Any other comments on this? If not, then Linda, go ahead and we'll accept both of your recommendations on that. Okay, very good. Anything else, Lynn?
No.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. Any unfinished business? None. Any new business? Any announcements?
Oh,
yes.
if you don't mind, I just
Mhm.
remembered on October 17th, there is a lab training. And I think it was Melanie that mentioned and Anne talked about pathways. They actually have 3 stages that you can attend. I think it's in Facebook. And Rose Kurland, Slava Slavic also posted the training for October 17th if you wanted to attend, learn the different stages of pathway. And also if you're interested to be DTM, they also have that session.
Okay, good. Thank you very much, Rodora. You must be reading my notes, my speaker notes here, because on the next thing we're going to be doing is we're going to go into announcements. Well, we are in announcements, but in the announcements, I was going to say on October 17th, we're going to have, the district is sponsoring a learning lab. So if you're interested, it's from 10 to 12 on Saturday, October 17. You members should have already received an email inviting you via Eventbrite. So in case you did not get that email, let me know. Just shoot me an email. I'll send that link over to you and you can sign up if you like. It's only 2 hours. And one of the breakout sessions is going to be conducted by no other than our VP of Education, Ann Myers. So that's a real treat if you haven't heard Ann speak before. Thank you, Ann. Okay, another announcement very quickly. Because we did attain a distinguished or presidential distinguished club last year, we received a set of $50 certificates from District 49. We got 2 $25 certificates, which is like equal to about 50 bucks. But Seppi, who is our district director, said that we should have gotten 3. So maybe we'll get as much as $75 worth of gift certificates that we can apply to and purchase things off of the Toastmasters International website. I coupled that with I think Ann Myers has maybe 2 or 3 more $25 certificates. So we've got up to about $150 worth of gift certificates we can use to purchase things from Toastmasters International. So I open it up to anyone, not now, but later on, that if you want to go into the Toastmasters International website, go into the shop tab and then take a look. And if you have any recommended things you would like to recommend we purchase with our gift certificates, let us know, and then we can think about it and let you all know about that. Okay. So that's one nice thing about the winnings itself. Our next meeting is going to be on October 20th, which is 2 weeks from now. We are banging the drum at this time and asking if there's anybody who would like to give a speech at that meeting. We've got openings for 2. Anyone interested? Okay. Again, I hear nothing but crickets out there, but that's okay. We shall hunt you down. We have some prime people that we think that will be very interested in giving the speech. But in case you are interested, let Ann Myers or myself know, and then we shall apply that to our next meeting on the 20th. Okay. Having said that, in case you may have not noticed, this meeting is being recorded. So please, those of you out there, if you all did not want to be saying anything, don't say anything embarrassing or anything like that, because it will be recorded and probably posted as well. The link will be posted as well. So please, I know we'll have good taste, and maybe this is just apply more to myself than anyone else, because I have a tendency of ad-libbing, maybe too far, but I say this, let us get right into the meeting right now. I'd like to introduce our Toastmaster of the day. He is the Planning Program Administrator in the Statewide Transportation Planning Office. And since moving around has been restricted during this pandemic, Pradip is substituting landscape photography with his macro photography. Here now to conduct his very first ever Toastmaster meeting, please welcome Dr. Pradip Pant.
Thank you, Mr. President, for the introduction. It is my pleasure to serve as the Toastmaster of the day. For the benefit of the guest, and I do observe that there are a number of guests today as well as new members, I would like to explain the structure of the meeting. The meeting is basically divided into 3 sections. The first is the prepared speech section, where members will be delivering speeches based on the project and paths that they have chosen. And actually, mentioned about, whether if you are unsure about your path, you can always consult our one-to-one on your path. The second part of the session is a table topics round, where members can practice thinking and speaking on their feet. The round is also known as impromptu speech section. Guests are game in the sections, so please wait for your to be called out in that section. The third and the final part of the evaluation is the evaluation round, in which all speeches as well as other aspects of the session will be evaluated. The constructive feedback that we'll receive from the evaluators is to make us better speaker and effective communicator. As a Toastmaster of the day, it is my responsibility to introduce the role bearers who would be assisting today's meeting. First, and it is a first assignment as well, Julie Jepson will track the goods and not so good use of grammar, and will also count ahs and ums during the meeting, including the one that I'm actually doing right now. Julie works at SSFM International, which is a professional consulting firm. Her work interest is being able to fill the gaps of understanding and in the organization, as well as her personal interests include working out, making healthy version of food. That is very important during pandemics, where we can't go out and we tend to eat a comfort food, and puzzles. I believe she will also provide us the word of the day. To provide us the ground rules about the as a grammarian, please welcome grammarian and AHA counter of the day, Julie Jepson.
Did you mention that I was supposed to come up with a word of the day, because I was unaware of that?
Okay, I think we can skip that then. But you'll be basically counting the ahs and ums. Thank you, Julie. So let's move on. To keep track of our time that we spend by each speaker, we have Chris Takano as a timer for today's meeting. Chris is the acting environmental compliance program manager at the Department of Transportation and has worked in SDOT for over 20 years. His interest is playing pickleball, which is a kind of interesting combination of table tennis, lawn tennis, as well as badminton. His other interests are walking, tennis, and cooking. Please help me welcome the timer of the day, Chris Takano. Chris, can you please explain the rules for the speakers and the evaluators, basically the times they are allocated?
Thank you, Pradip. Good afternoon, fellow Toastmasters and guests. My role as timer is to keep time for all the speakers to ensure that everyone speaks within their allotted time slot. This also helps to ensure our meeting runs on time. To help me do this, I have 3 colored cards or pieces of paper. One is green. Can you see this? Nope. Okay, green is not good. Green doesn't show up in this background, in the blue background. A yellow. Oh, that doesn't show up either.
Chris,
am I holding it wrong? Yeah.
No, Chris, I think you have to disable the virtual background.
Okay.
That messes up everything.
Okay. And I do that by, oh, okay.
Yeah, I think now it's still okay. It's still work okay.
Okay. So this is the green.
Yep.
This is the yellow. And I have no red, so we'll have to use this orange paper. Sorry. For the featured speakers today, each speech should be about 5 to 7 minutes each. I will raise the green card at 5 minutes, the yellow card on the 6th minute, and the orange card at the 7th minute. Okay. Table topic speeches should be 1 to 2 minutes. Again, the green card will be 1 minute. The yellow card at 1.5 minutes. And the orange card at 2 minutes. I also will be timing the speech evaluations, and that's between 2 to 3 minutes. Again, for green card at 2 minutes, yellow at 2.5 minutes, and orange, which, God, why can't I, at 3 minutes, okay? And I will report the time for all speeches when called upon by the Toastmaster of the day. Thank you.
Thank you, Chris.
Sorry, Pradeep, it's Maza. I'm not sure if Chris will be able to show, since the speaker would be the one we would be looking at. If otherwise, how would we actually? It's hard even for the speaker to see Chris unless he takes over the screen. It would be difficult for him to show any colors, or maybe put it on a chat pod or something for the speakers to know.
And one thing you can do is, if you see by Chris, there's 3 ellipses. If you click on that, it'll say chat or pin video. For the speakers, if you do pin video, he will be on top.
Yeah,
So by
that's the way.
Chris.
So if you are a speaker, go to Chris window and then pin him so that you can always see him. That's the way it should go. Okay. Thank you, Chris, for the timing, the parameters that, the time that our speakers have for their speech. The evaluation session will be coordinated by Jack Watsack. Ann Meyer and Maza would be evaluating feature speakers, and the table topic speakers will be evaluated by Melanie Martin. I'll introduce Jack later at the beginning of the evaluation round. Now, let's move to the prepared speech round. We have 2 featured speakers today. Very exciting speeches today. Our first featured speaker is Lynn Araki-Regan. Lynn is the first Deputy Director of the Hawaii Department of Transportation, and she oversees the administration division. She's also my boss. In the Transportation Toastmaster, Lynn is the Public Relation Manager or Vice President of Public Relation. She is responsible for generating positive awareness to attract and retain members. That has been excellent. As Royden just explained, we have the highest membership. She's active at the district level Toastmaster events as well. And needless to say, Lynn is the kingpin of the Transportation Toastmaster. Lynn is presenting Level 2, Project 2, and her space is interestingly titled as the Communicator. I must confess that I unsuccessfully Googled yesterday, trying to find out the meaning, but I couldn't. By the sound of it, my best guess is it has to do something with the communication, but I'm not totally sure. So without further ado, let's welcome the first featured speaker of the day, Lynn Araki-Regan.
Thank you, Pradeep. Okay, so who knows what kind of creature this is? I don't know if you can see it. The blue area is the face. Any idea? Who can tell me what kind of creature this is?
A chameleon?
Chameleon.
Yes, it is a chameleon. So thank you. Thanks for answering giving the right answer. And what is a chameleon known to be able to do?
Blend into the background. Yeah.
Right. Yep. Chameleons are known to be able to change color, right? To my surprise, they do not match the leaves like some people think. Through my research, they change colors to respond to stress, threatening environment, and weather. They also change color when they are mating, believe it or not. You know, while we humans aren't able to change colors easily, we can change our communication style as easily as a chameleon can change colors to adapt to any situation as quickly as a chameleon can. And thus, the topic or title of my speech is communicator. Okay. As I continue my dynamic leadership path and pathways, I learned more about communication styles. And through the process, I took a test to determine what is my communication style. There are 4 styles, and I remember the styles with the word SAID, S-A-I-D. S stands for supportive, super friendly person, social, calm, great with personal relationships. That's one communication style. Another communication style is analytical. Think before they act. Look at all the numbers, weigh all kinds of factors before making an informed decision. Initiating, being very creative, many great ideas, and they actively seek your support. And the final communication style taught by Toastmasters is direct. Not to my surprise, and probably not to the surprise of others, the test showed that my style is primarily direct. This style is decisive, competitive, results-oriented, goal-oriented, independent, confident. You know, they're very driven, and pretty much me in a nutshell. And I think based on the answers that I provided, you know, Toastmasters too agreed that my communication style is direct. Perhaps it's because I'm always juggling multiple responsibilities at any given time. I don't have time to be touchy-feely. And I think sometimes I come across cold, decisive, and too goal-driven. Now, is the direct communication style effective? Yes, perhaps in some cases. You know, as a tiger mom, and I admit I am a tiger mom, I communicate succinctly my goals and expectations for my son, whether it be in school, scouting, or his other activities. To illustrate, you know, this sash here is a merit badge sash that he wears to his scout events. And this sash represents each of the merit badges that he's earned since the 6th grade, some of which required a tiger mom to be able to follow up with him repeatedly to ensure he completes them on time. That requires the job of a direct communicator or direct communication style. But as a chameleon communicator, I, like many or all of you, know that having a direct communication style all the time may not be as effective. Not sure how many of you have been in mediations, but you know, I've participated in about 200 mediations whereby, you know, 1 or 2 could be mediators. There's an opposing party who you have a disagreement or legal contention with, and yourself. Do you think being a results-oriented, goal-driven, competitive, driven person would be a good approach in a successful mediation? You know, we all want to win, But through my experience, if we want to achieve a successful mediation, it is critical to modify the communication style to a more supportive style in a calm, steady, and supportive manner. The reason why I mention this is that we need to adapt. We need to be sort of like a chameleon, understanding our surroundings, understand the people who we communicate and interact with, and adapt our communication style accordingly. Sometimes you can be supportive. Sometimes it's important to be analytical. It's, important to be initiating. But it's important to modify our communication style based on the preferences and strengths of each person. 2 other points I want to leave you with is learn the basics of nonverbal communication. Not everyone is verbal. Look at the nonverbal communication signs, as 55% of an audience perceives a presenter that way. Finally, if you're unsure about someone's communication style, seek honest feedback from them. Through their feedback, you'll better be able to gauge their communication style, as well as discover areas for improvement that you might have otherwise overlooked. Even if a chameleon cannot engage in conversations, let's all strive to be communicators. Let's switch between communication style, drawing on a broad range of approaches to broaden and deepen our influence on others. Thank you.
Thank you, Lynn. That was a wonderful speech. I now understand what chameleon communicator means. I would want to be like that, but let's try. I think the part of a transportation Toastmaster is trying to be that, trying to be a better communicator. The second featured speaker is Randall Landry II. Randall is a Title VI specialist at the Hawaii Department of Transportation Office of Civil Rights and Civil Rights Advisor Reservist for Federal Emergency Management Agency, which is commonly known as FEMA. His service are not only confined to OCR. He often comes to just across his office to our office at the Statewide Transportation Planning Office to help us. So he's a multi-talented, and we got to know him from his last 2 presentations. The last one I think included an electric boogaloo, if I'm correct. Today, Randall is presenting Level 1 Project 3, and the speech title is Communication Planning 101. Even an idiot like me can do it. I don't agree with the idiot qualifier over there, but I definitely can say this speech is going to be about communication. So please welcome our second featured speaker of the day, Randall Landry II.
Pradeep, the idiot is me. It's not you, okay? You should have said even an idiot like Randall can do it. Before we get started though, would it be possible to have access to share the screen? I did make a PowerPoint after all to discuss, and I would like to share it with everyone if that's okay. I'm not sure who has access to that.
I think Lynn has that.
Okay. And I also want to say that I did ask that Pradeep provide another one of his interests when he introduced me, because he's a much more interesting man than I am. So, but he didn't do it.
Okay, I've given you the ability to do so.
Great. Thank you, Lynn. Okay. All right, let's get started. Oop, wrong button. There we go. Okay. Welcome everyone, and thank you, Pradeep, for introducing me. This is my 3rd speech. I'm jumping a bit out of order as far as how my project is concerned. I'm on the pathway for a visionary communicator. After having lengthy discussions with Royden and Ann about this and then flipping a coin, I decided this would be one of the best ways to go about presenting and to build on what little strengths I have when it comes to public speaking for myself. So hopefully you will enjoy this and maybe even learn something too. I know I didn't. So please, let's go. Communications Planning 101. Even an idiot like me can do it. And remember, the idiot is me. not you. As I did mention last time, I am the dunce. Thank you, Chris, for that analytical method of the dabbler versus the specialist. For me, I'm category 3, the dunce. By me, VC1. Here's what's on tap for today. I got plan in the corner. If you can see that, perhaps the video window may be blocking the way. If you cannot see it, it's just cheap clip art I stole online. Don't worry about it. What we're going to talk about, what is communication? Why do you plan it? The elements of communication planning, your audience, internal versus external. Action planning to the communication plan is how you deal with something to what you or what your deal is. If you remember, if some of you participated in taking the SAT, that's what we call an analogy. They were terrible. I figured what better way to use that tool here. Your plan sucks. Measuring planning effectiveness. And that's my citation. Much appreciate the community toolbox resource hosted by the University of Kansas. Very great, very detailed, really helped me out a lot. Oh. Item 1, communications. What is that? Communicating is how we interact as a species, transmitting information to one another via a variety of transmission methods. This is crazy in 2020, but it's true. That's how we do it. You may not believe it, especially if you watch the news, but that's how it is. So what does that mean for both the external and the internal context? External, you stress your organization's message, the justification or the need for planning communication. So in that sense, that means that what do you want to talk about? What is your objective? And that serves as part of the foundation for your plan. With that, you may also want to target specific demographics that receive, say, benefits or services, may be impacted by your projects, what have you. Internally, you ensure that all members of your organization or project are on the same page. This would mean you've got lines of communication between project members or organizational members. You have an establishment of, say, a democratic order. You let everybody put in their opinion, a networked order where information is distributed on a fairly even level, or perhaps a hierarchical order where one person at the top delivers the message on down. These plans that you make can focus on both external and internal communications, such as COVID-19 awareness, which is a fantastic example. To notify everyone of what's going on with COVID-19, we need to let them know about it, both for internal and external purposes. I don't know why I bothered putting those mechanisms in there. 2, the elements of communications planning. What are the elements of your plan? There are no cookie cutter planning processes. If there was, then I'd be out of a job. Typical elements, very boring list. You have a purpose, we talked about that. You have your audience, we talked a bit about. You have the foundation of what your message is, the delivery methods, your resources and your costs, any obstacles or emergencies that get in the way, like COVID-19, and picking potential partners, stakeholders, and others to send your message to. Don't forget, you also have to have action planning and evaluation of your efforts, which we will talk about more later on. Your audience, internal versus external. Here's a person yelling at somebody, it's very nice. Who is your audience for this plan? If you don't have an audience, why are you bothering to write a plan? External audience could be the public, could be specific stakeholders, it could be other branches of government or other private groups, private orgs. Internal audience could be your employees, their families, any other internal groups within your organization to target. One that popped in my head was prisoners, but I'm not sure if that's appropriate. So, and what are your demographics for these audiences? You need to be thinking about ethnicity, geography, employment, health, etc. All very important details in order to tailor your messaging properly, your communications properly. Action planning is to communications planning as to how you deal with something is to what's your deal. What does that mean? Communications planning deals with the overall or the overview, but you need action plans for the specifics. If it's internal, what's your audience? We talked about that. What are your goals? We talked about that. What is your action plan in relation to your project, organizational programming, targets, these sorts of things? And what are your costs? If external, same thing. Why are you doing this basically? And how are you going to deal with it? And this is a continuous improvement process. You look at what you're doing, you take feedback, you take criticism, as we'll talk about later on, and you improve on it and you keep building on it. You don't just stop and say, well, this is good enough. I've done what I need to do. And don't forget, in our COVID-19 pandemic hell world, planning for handling these sorts of things in a wholly virtual manner, it matters more now than ever. Because we cannot go out due to social distancing. We need to figure out ways to handle this virtually. Okay. Your plan sucks. Measuring plan effectiveness. What does that mean? You've acted in accordance with your plan and your action plans. What's the result? What are people telling you? What is the audience response to your efforts? How are you measuring it? What are your metrics? So on and so forth. Or do you just give up? What do you do if things just get really bad, an emergency happens, you cannot act on your standard plan? Is that it? Are you done? That's not a good answer, but you can do it. And what do you learn and what do you avoid in the future having acted on your plan? If you find that a specific method did not work, well, what do you do next? How do you modify it or how do you completely revamp it? And that's it. Thank you for your loss of time. Does anybody have any questions for me?
Thank you, Randall, for your informative speech and lots of idea. I think, looks like it is a first class of the Communication 101, and we would have a series of those presentations coming, in the next, coming weeks. So we're just waiting for that.
Yeah, I made it for work basically, and I wanted to test it out on y'all first. So.
Good. Okay. Now we are moving to the second part of the Toastmaster meeting. To provide us with the challenge of today's table topic round, we have table topic master who would be conducting the session today. Mili Murakami has worked in the Hawaii State FCU for 11 years and will be retiring January 4th, 2021, within a couple of months. She has 4 grandsons, 2 here in Hawaii and twins in California, and will be spending her time after she retires with them. She has been helping her kindergarten grandson with distance learning on Thursday. She finds it somewhat stressful, but enjoys it, very enjoyable. Millie thinks that the teachers are amazing, and I totally agree to that because I used to be also a teacher. So please help me welcome the table topic master of the day, Mili Murakami.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay. All right. Due to the COVID-19, many people have picked up new hobbies, have decluttered their homes, participated in virtual celebrations, or like Randall, who have been watching the Japanese chef on YouTube. What new things have you been doing during this pandemic and social distancing? And I'll pick Rodero Arias. Could you answer the first question?
Sure. But table topics master, fellow Toastmasters, and guests. Since COVID started or erupted, teaching totally changed. We used to have textbooks, be able to walk around the room and observe the students, whether they're really doing their work or not. Now, with the virtual classroom, they don't show their faces. They actually opted out and turning on their camera, so we don't know exactly what they're doing. I take roll call 6 times for every class, and that's 90 minutes. They come in, I take roll call, make sure they are actually there instead of just logging in and walking out of their laptop. Or sometimes I would pose a question right away and they would say, as soon as they come in, the whiteboard is out there and there's a question for them to answer. And when the bell rings, they're obligated to answer that question, each one of them, just to make sure that they are there. And they don't know when they're gonna get called, so they have to be there. Unfortunately, when I'm teaching them, it's like Royden, when you ask question and nobody answers, that's how it is, crickets. That's all I hear. And then that's the time when I start taking roll call again, roll call, making sure that they are there. So I've been just doing a lot of training, management, classroom management, instead of worrying about my content. And that's what we've been doing all this time, classroom management. Thank you, Madam Table Topics Master.
Thank you very much, Rodero. That was very informative. My next one is Discover's Day will be celebrated on Monday, October 12th. Unfortunately, it is not a state holiday and therefore not a Hawaii State FCU holiday either. However, I will be off on that day. Yay. Do you do anything special on Discover's Day? in your past? Can you be that occurred on Discover's Day? If not, tell us how you'll be spending Discover's Day. And remember to stretch your answers to 1 or 2 minutes. And I'll call Chelsea.
Thank you. While I can't remember or pinpoint any memorable Discover's Day in my past, I am off on Monday as well, which I'm very excited about. And I am planning on either going hiking with my dogs or going to the beach. I'm just not sure. It kind of depends on the weather. But I always like to try to get outdoors, especially on the weekends, especially now with COVID, while we have all been stuck inside for so long. I think it's important to always try and get outside, get some fresh air, and just have some fun. If the weather takes a turn and it's raining, I'll probably just stay inside and read a good book. I have a stack of them that I've been collecting with COVID. That's about it.
Thank you very much, Chelsea. My last question is, would you share your thoughts regarding President Trump and how he is handling the coronavirus? You may also include anything you would like to share with the group regarding this pandemic. And I'll give Kanani a break and call Ty instead. Ty, can you share?
Hey, wait, that's a huge curveball because I wasn't ready and I wasn't 100% listening. But what was the question again?
Okay, it's easy one then. Would you share your thoughts regarding President Trump and how he's handling his coronavirus? Or you may also include anything you would like to share with the group regarding the pandemic.
Well, after his positive test, I'm kind of interested to see how he treats the pandemic going forward. I felt he didn't take it very seriously and the message wasn't passed on to the individual states as it being as serious as it is. I know a couple people that actually tested positive and it's been a miserable experience for them, and isolation and quarantine and all that. So yeah, that's all I got. Sorry.
Okay, thanks, Ty. Is that, are we okay with time, or I only had 3, so if we're...
Yeah, I think, Millie, I think we are okay. We are already 12:50, so we still have the last section remaining. Thank you, Millie. That was a very interesting session, interesting questions, interesting answers.
Thank you.
The next part of our meeting is an important round of Toastmaster meeting. In this round, constructive feedback is given to each speaker, as well as the overall meeting conduct is evaluated, and it is a beneficial for us because the experience that the evaluator have in terms of observing all those speeches and giving their own speeches, that's what is a part of an evaluation process that comes on the evaluation. To coordinate the evaluation session, we have Jack Warsack as the general evaluator. Jack recently gave 2 inspiring speeches introducing himself. So he has a lot of experience in terms of giving the speech and listening to those speeches. There will be a great evaluation. And he has now started learning how to play drums and read music. I'm interested in that too. So probably I should ask a lot more about that from him. I'm also told that Jack is a very skillful computer game player. That is another interesting thing that I need to learn from him. I'd like to hand over the session to the general evaluator of the day, Jack Warsack. Please.
Thank you, Toastmaster Pradip. Good afternoon, fellow Toastmasters and guests. My role as general evaluator is to introduce the individual evaluators for each speaker. I will also share some of my observations regarding the overall quality of the meeting. I'd like to remind evaluators to try and mention at least 1 point for improvement in your evaluations and to try and keep the time limit between 2 to 3 minutes. At this time, I'd like to introduce our first evaluator, Ann Myers, our VP of Education. And I'd like to piggyback on what Melanie Martin said earlier. Ann Myers is very talented at helping guide you through the pathways on the Toastmasters website. So if you are available, hit her up for a session. But yeah, Anne will be evaluating Lynn Araki-Regan's speech. So take it away, Anne.
Okay. Thank you, Zach. Lynn, what can we say? We love Lynn's speeches. And I'll just jump in with what she did in the beginning. I loved how she used that, and I don't even know how to pronounce charmeleon, like chameleon with a communicator. She opened it up with a question for all of us, which really set the stage. She engaged us right from like the very first moment. And then she followed it up with another question. So that's a very good technique that all of us can learn from, where you ask a question and then you follow up with one more. So you make sure that you've drawn the audience in. So now you're engaged with what she's going to be saying next and what she's going to be presenting. And then she also set the stage by making sure that her example did correspond with her speech. Some speakers do this technique, but then now you've lost them because there's just a big gap about, well, she said that, what happened? But Lynn is an excellent speechwriter. So she had taken us through a journey. What she also did in the beginning was use an acronym, which now we said, easy word, and it is a relatable word. Some other people that use acronyms use one that they just put together and it doesn't form a word. So now you don't understand, but Lynn is expert at this. So she made a word that we all can understand. And then she went through her support and analytical, innovative. And then her last point was direct. And that was very good because then she got into her own way that she communicates. And if we didn't learn anything about that, is that one thing that I like Lynn to really hone in on is her voice modulation. Lynn is very good at modulating her voice, and when you listen to her, you feel like she doesn't discriminate amongst the words. You know, you feel like, oh, she's giving everything equal weight. But maybe sometimes what needs to happen is to make it much more dramatic at certain things. Through the speech, somehow I knew there was very much more important points, but with your voice modulation, if you could do a little bit more, it would help us to know that, oh, we really should be paying attention at this point. Lynn is just an excellent speechwriter to make it very direct, clear. If you want any schooling on all of that, you have to just look at Lynn. Her choice of words, but it's more than that. It's her framework of how she developed her speech, and she makes it very easy. Thank you, Lynn, for a great speech. Back to you, Zach.
Thank you, Anne. At this time, I'd like to introduce our second evaluator, Maza Mercuria, who will be giving an evaluation on Randall Landry's speech. Take it away, Maza.
Yes. Okay. Well, I've been trying to understand how to introduce Randall speech. Actually, almost felt like Randall, the world was behind him, and he was heading into the future with into Homestead Colony on the starship Avalon with his Google goggles, 3D Google goggles, seeing, all kinds of wonderful 3D world around him, and so peering into the future. And that's he's almost always entertaining and charming and making everybody feel comfortable before he even started speaking. So it's wonderful. And Randall's topic was communication, and he presented many interesting facts and showed us with all the PowerPoint pages that he went through, and he used in the same sentence the word a hell world and then a holy world, even though the word holy, but those two contrasts, Randall has such a way with putting together many different contrasting words. And I think those are some of the things that I appreciated in his speech. He spoke in different, sometimes faster, sometimes slower. That was pretty good. One of the things that I felt maybe as a feedback to Randall was one, when the presenting or PowerPoints, usually you would like to have fewer bullet points and also less clutter on the pages. It would make it's better that people would get the few points, understand them, and then explain by word of communication instead of actually cluttering the PowerPoint page. I liked some of the things that I liked was images, and maybe having more images would be very helpful so that the information would not be an overload. And there is a sort of an adage that says a picture is worth 1,000 words, and it would be good. I liked his animation. They were good, but the information, there was a little bit of information overload, and some places maybe pausing and giving the audience an opportunity to take in, and then in the end recapping again those salient points that one would get out of such a very detailed, a very well thought speech that would be useful. And I think those are the main things, but I always relaxed every time I listen to Randall, and you can see he is also highly relaxed. He downplays himself sometimes too much, to the point of just to the point of making myself smile. And I think that's anyway. Appreciate Randall, and thank you, Randall, for a job well done.
Thank you, Maza. Now Melanie Martin's gonna go over and give evaluations for our table topic session. Go ahead, Melanie.
Just a caveat, I'm going to speak really quickly, so please don't judge about how fast I'm talking, because I want to stay on time. And thank you, Millie, for those wonderful comments. I love Rodera's answer about classroom management. Didn't realize how many times a teacher has to do roll call, man. My son-in-law, my son, they're both teachers, and I'm like, wow, roll call 6 times, really? I guess so, because you are doing distance learning right now. So enjoy that. Thank you so much for that answer. Chelsea, about what you're gonna do on Monday, I love the fact that you gave both the indoor and outdoor answer, and it really does make a difference in terms of what the weather is like outside. And I have a stack of books to read too, and of course I haven't started one of them yet. So anyway, thank you for reminding me that I really do need to read. And Ty, oh my goodness, I love your Maui inflection. I mean, there's no doubt you're from Maui, and I loved your answer about President Trump. So thank you very much. Back to you, General Evaluator.
Thank you, Melanie. We're now reaching the report section. Our first report will be from Chris Takeno, our timer. So take it away, Chris.
Sorry, I had to find my unmute button. Okay, thank you, Zach. Okay, so for time, Lynn's speech was 6 minutes and 50 seconds, just under 7 minutes. Randall's speech was 6 minutes and 20 seconds, again under 7 minutes. Table topics, Rodora, 1 minute and 37 seconds. Chelsea, 52 seconds. Ty, 35 seconds. For the evaluation, Anne was 3 minutes and 18 seconds. Maza, as always, he has a lot to say, but 4 minutes and 17 seconds. And Melanie, 57 seconds. And that's the report for the time.
Thank you, Chris. Julie Jepson is our grammarian and awe counter. She'll be giving her report now.
Thank you very much, General Evaluator Zach. So as stated, I went through the counters. So for the featured speaker, Lynn, you caught yourself before you said one so that I'm not going to count that. You have 3 and 1 yeah, no. So great job. For Randall, there was 2 ahs and 2 And then moving on to the table topics. Millie, I only count that you said once. Rodera, there was 2 Chelsea, I had 7 and Ty, I had 1 so and 1 yeah. And I apologize, this is my first time doing this. I did not count the and ahs for the evaluator. So thank you very much, Zach.
That's because we didn't have any.
I think you did a really great job for your first time. It was awesome. So I do see that we're a little over time, so I'm just going to give a really quick evaluation. Sorry that it's rushed through, but I thought the meeting overall was great. I loved the fact that both of the speeches had a communication theme. I feel that I was very informed and educated on how to plan and become a more effective and adaptive communicator. So that was awesome. I feel that everybody who had a job did their job great. All the evaluators, thank you so much for those great evaluations. Table topics questions were relevant. I was shocked by the Trump one. I was like, oh my God, that's a political question. I want to see how everybody's going to answer that. I was sitting there saying, please don't pick me. But yeah, I think the meeting was great overall. I always love coming to the meetings, and it seems to be getting more and more, I guess, better for me and more enjoyable each week. But at this time, I'd like to give it back to our Toastmaster, Pradip. Thank you.
Thank you, Jack, for coordinating and leading the evaluation and reporting section. You provided very insightful observations. My heartfelt thanks to all you Toastmasters who helped make today's transportation meeting another success. Since we have already exceeded our time, I would just like to return the control of the meeting to our President, Regan. Thank you.
Hey, thank you very much, Pradip. A very nice hand for Pradip for steering the meeting to a successful conclusion. At this time, I would like to ask our guests, as we always do, for their impressions of the meeting. 10 seconds or less, if you would, please. Let's give Julie Chun. She is a member, but she didn't have a chance to speak today. So Julie, if you would, please, your thoughts about the meeting.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, thank you, Raiden. I thought the meeting was really good. I really liked the speeches, the innovative way that Lynn presented the chameleon, and I enjoyed Randall's speech as well, and all the table topics. So good meeting.
Okay, thank you very much, Lynn. Julie, sorry, Julie. We also have another guest out there. I think she is, I believe she is Lynn's secretary or maybe associated with her. You see her on the screen as Karen. Karen, your thoughts, please, if you will.
Hello, good afternoon. I'm actually working with Melanie.
Oh, that's
and
right.
Yes, although we all work together and we're all one, HDOT Ohana. So with that said, I really enjoyed this Toastmasters session. I enjoyed everyone's take on how they're going about getting their message across with communication. And it was interesting to see how Randall expressed how he sees communication, as well as Lynn, and how she had shared her view on communication. And in doing so, it also allows everyone to, if people are a little bit more visual, perhaps Randall's, you were pulled towards that one. And then also Lynn's presentation, it was a lot more direct and engaging when she had shared about, her personal experiences. So, the tabletops were very interesting and insightful to see how everyone else views the world, and a lot of times perhaps some like how we can all relate to. And that is my impression of today's Toastmasters. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Karen. Kanani, yourself, you haven't had a chance to speak today. Kanani?
I thought today's Toastmasters meeting was great. Lynn and Randall, thank you guys for your amazing presentations. Lynn, yours is especially great, just hearing about the different types of communicators, learning that I think I'm more of the social one that feeds off of people's emotions more than maybe the other types of communicators. So that was really cool to hear about, and just really interesting topics today. Overall, I think everything was great. Super happy to be a part of the Toastmasters group, and yeah, thank you everyone.
Okay, thank you, Kanani. And Chelsea?
I thought today's session was awesome. Everyone's topic was really interesting, and I loved the visuals. I loved the chameleon from Lynn. I loved the PowerPoint. I thought that was fun and easy to follow. The table topics were great questions, and it was pretty interesting to hear everybody's answers. So thank you for letting me join you guys again.
Okay, thank you, Chelsea. And of course, Rodora, if you would please, your thoughts.
Very impressed when it comes to having speakers and the roles. Everybody seemed to know their roles very well. Very, very impressive. This is my first time visiting in person. I've seen the recorded, like I mentioned earlier, and I was impressed even then. But I also like what Lynn Araki, the acronym, said. I am actually a team leader now with my school, and I have to do the same. I have to be actually do everything that she said. I used to be direct. I was a direct type of person, but now I have to learn to be more supportive. I have to really think before acting. It was difficult, but I have to learn it. Thank you for that information, Lynn. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Rodora. And Rodora, if you would please, if you could stick around for another 5 minutes so we can discuss about those timing cards. Be appreciated. Everyone else, well, thank you very much for sticking with us, especially we are 11 minutes past our 1 o'clock time. We apologize for stealing 10 minutes of your life today, but hopefully this meeting is well worth it. Again, our next meeting is going to be on 2 weeks from now, on October the 20th. We will be doing a little headhunting before then to find ourselves 2 speakers. But until then, please stay safe, stay healthy. I'll see you on October the 20th. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.